So how do I choose an anti-malware solution? Well, first thing to know that there are three types of anti-malware solutions on the market. The first one is very much like an antivirus that you've been running since 90s. It has a database of all known malware, and it looks for specific file signatures to detect anything that it knows. The problem is, if it encounters anything that is unknown, it is very unlikely to detect it. The second type of anti-malware solutions is a behavior-based, where the anti-malware inspects the behavior of the programs at the execution and while running. And that particular type of solution will look for any malicious types of behavior or perceived malicious types of behavior. While this type of solution is very good at detecting anything that is unknown, it will also likely to have false positives where it will flag some of your business applications for certain malicious behavior. Lastly, the new generation of solutions looks at specific validations that malware has before execution and uses that validation mechanism to prevent malware from executing. Now, anti-malware solution is just a part of what I call a ransomware resiliency. You cannot be 100% effective at preventing malware execution, and therefore you want to make sure that your systems are resilient to every single step of ransomware attack. And moreover, even if the entire ransomware attack is successful, you can still recover fast. What does it mean? First of all, even if a malware has executed successfully and an attacker breached your organization and is at one of your user systems, they need to go through the network. If you have the right type of systems that prevent the attacker from going through the network and accessing the right data, it will create a much higher resiliency. That's your first step, making sure that the access throughout your internal network is secure, making sure that your systems are well patched and up to date so the attacker cannot exploit any weaknesses, and making sure that your user identities that they're using are adequately protected. The second step to achieving resilience is making sure that the access to the data is secure, that the data is not open for every single user in an organization to access, that this data is secured to allow access only for specific individuals that need the data to do the job. The third aspect of ransomware resilience is an ability for you to detect if somebody is trying to do any malicious access on your internal network. And this is where your security monitoring is coming in. The fourth aspect is making sure that if somebody has successfully accessed other systems and is executing a ransomware attack, encrypting those systems, you can recover fast, meaning that you have backups, but also that you have backups that are available offline, going back to several months up to a year, because an attacker is not going to encrypt systems right away. They will stay in your systems for few days to a few months, making sure that they've done their due diligence in creating a persistence, meaning that if you recover from the points where they were already in your systems, they will be able to access those systems again. And this is why it is extremely important to make sure that you have multiple copies of backup, but also that the backup is not accessible to an attacker, meaning that it has to be offline. If it's online, it shouldn't use the same accounts or the same system that manages account as the rest of the user. The other important point is making sure that you have administrative access, which is protected. And again, that means that you're not reusing the same identities that those people that are managing your systems using for day-to-day operation, making sure that those identities are not managed within the same system as the rest of the user identities, and making sure that if there is possible way of segregating network access to any of the management systems, it is done. And the last one is making sure that anything that will speed up the recovery, such as software images, such as your operating system images, those things are stored offline where they cannot be accessed or modified by an attacker. Those are most important aspects of ransomware resilience.